thinking about looking at it?
A lot of things, Steve. You and I, when we put things up, you know, the Swivels, I hand them to you and you hung them up. I think that's the book, but the lady came, she thought I'm
Dr. Ruth?
Dr. Ruth.
That's my favorite story.
Oh. We were putting, you know, I handed to him to put the Swivels up on the wall, you know, for the show. And the lady jumped over the rope. She goes, "Oh my God, would you sign your name here, Mrs.
Dr. Ruth.
Dr. Ruth, would you sign your name here?" And I go, "What?" Well, I remember when my ma always took me with my sisters to my grandma. To watch, to go to school. After school, to go to grandma's. Till my mom and dad came back from work, they picked us up and took us home. And that went on all the time. We had a small place. We had 2 horses. We had 2 cows. We had a big garden. My dad was a farmer, so I used to drive with him with the wagon because I like to do that. It was nice, it was small, and it was all different than here. I always was happy the way my dad took care of me, my mom took care of my sister. And I always cried. She took her out of town on the train, and I want to go on the train too. And my dad says, "Come on, you like to drive with me, we're gonna drive. I let you drive." And I liked that a lot, so I was very proud. I'm thinking about it a lot, the way it was and what my dad did for me.
What were you driving? Were you driving a car?
Horses, horses, the wagon. Oh yeah, I like that. My dad went to the army. That took him to the army.
Oh, wow.
And see how small we are? And I show you a picture when he came back. I got it in the front. Yeah. That's my sisters, you know. That's my mom and dad before he left. That's my mom and dad's wedding. This is my school I went to in Yugoslavia. That's my dad. Well, that took my dad first before anything else happened. To the army. He had to go to the army. And one of my mother's sister's husband didn't go. They all went, he didn't go. And they called all the people together, you know, from the state, what do you call it, the Mindy House, the town thing, yeah. And I said, we all gotta meet there. And they put my mother's sister's husband, he had to crawl all the way up on a tree and everybody had to watch. And he had to call cuckoo a lot.
So kind of the humiliation.
To damage him, what he didn't go. And then after this, they took him and they never brought him back. She is in Austria, my aunt, still
He
with
just
us.
disappeared.
Yes. All the German people had to live there. They brought us different horses and wagon with the roof on top. Did you ever watch Wagon
The
Train?
covered wagon.
Yes. And they gave us that, and my grandma and her boy, my mother and the 4 kids had that wagon. And all the Germans had to go out of Yugoslavia.
So that has to change.
So you said that a lot of school districts, a lot of states,
We traveled,
for, you know,
Countries.
and countries,
I don't know how long,
but some aren't.
and then all of a sudden we winded up
If you're a parent
in Austria,
And hence, Austria.
Linz, yes.
Hence.
And when we got to the hills, we don't have no brakes. We had to fix the sticks, put it in the wheel, and lay on it. I had to do it, and my grandma's son is my age, and my mother, and the two little ones were in the car. When we traveled, we had a lot of bombings and shooting at us from the airplanes. And we had to stop the wagons, and they said, when the planes come, you stop and look for a hole and went in. And then the guy said, if that is a small hole, just put your head in there. And I always wonder, what about my feet? That's what I never forget that.
Do you remember the planes flying over and shooting at you?
Yeah, bombing and shooting and oh yeah. We were lucky. Not one shot at our wagon or behind us or before us. But a little behind us, we made it over the bridge. They bombed and everybody went down in the water on that bridge. Hello, hi Jakey.
Hi, OMI. Mwah.
I call you Jakey.
Yeah, of course.
Hi, Mom. How
you doing?
Nice to
You
see
call me
you
Stevie?
guys. Hi, Stevie.
Love you, Mama.
Excuse me?
For a long time, they were shooting and bombing, and they gave us a room. And they said, if we want fire, it was cool, we have to get woods in the woods to pick up things to get it. We did go with grandma. My mom stayed with the two little kids. And then when we got there, we heard shooting and screaming in the woods. Because everybody went, not just us, everybody needs some. And we were there a couple of days at that place. And there were some soldiers, wherever they were, I'm not telling you, they were raping the women. And when they scream, run away, they shot them. We binded up in Linz with the wagons. And there were workers there. We had one from, where was he? Canada or something. They wanted people, working people. And Mitama took us, where I stayed, and we stayed there quite a bit till I got married and left there. But my ma got sick already before we got there. And we didn't know. She just said she's sick. And then we went, they took her to a doctor, and they had to operate her. She damaged her inside from laying on that piece of wood so the wheel doesn't go around because we had no brakes. And she damaged something, and they had to operate. And a couple of days later, she died after whatever. And this, somebody in Europe gave me this, but in small. Linda made it big for me.
Yeah, but that's what it looked like there, yeah.
Yeah. And then this, they gave us horses and wagon, throw us out from Yugoslavia. Well, my mom was in the hospital, she died. And at the wake, at the cemetery, there was a lot of people, not that I know, no. There were some farmers there. Two of them came. The first one came, wanted to take Barbara. And I said, what do you want to take her for? We take care of it. You got to work. You can't handle that kid. I said, you do not take my sister. And the other person said, a couple, they were farmers. They said, we take care of him. Don't worry. You got to work and you can't handle. I said, you will not take my sister. And I cried, and I was holding on to her. And the farmer lady who we stayed, I went to him and I said, I don't want them to take my sister. And I go, Cotty, don't worry. You can keep her and do how you work. We let you do it. So I'm thankful for them. That was the hard part.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So,
sorry.
It's a war. The mom's dead. The dad's off to war. She's 12 years old. She's got a sister that's 3 and one that's 6.
And
How is she
one
gonna-
is
when
older
she can't
than
even take care of
me.
herself. And she said, no, they wanted to help. They take care of the kids and raise them. They
No
had kids.
way.
They wanted to help. Wasn't like they were, but
Trying to take them away,
Well,
but they were like, well,
but-
a little of both.
yeah, a little of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little of both.
Yeah.
It's not
Oh,
like,
no.
oh, yeah.
I screamed at my mom's grave. I go,
Yeah.
no way. She stays with me.
That was a pretty powerful
But
story.
I took care of her, but they want to take her. And I thought, no way you're taking her. She stays with me. I didn't even know if I could keep her if the farmer let me do that.
Just one or both sisters?
Huh?
Just one sister or both sisters?
Just the one. They just wanted Barbara.
little.
Oh, they're gonna keep the other two together, the littlest one they were gonna take.
Yeah.
That's what she's referencing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we were at the farm a long time. I don't know how long. It was quite a bit. I don't know. I don't say the time because I don't remember exact. And Leo said, oh, I'm going to have one of my, I don't know how he said, cousin or something, come over and work for us. Mittermeier takes him. He worked far away from us, but he wasn't pleased where he was. And Weber, Leo, asked the farmer if they would take him, and they did. So we got to know each other. He had a lot of curly hairs, and my sister, at the farm when you eat or after work, everybody's in one room and talking to workers and sit till they go to bed. And my sister always liked his hair. Not that I knew him then. I know who is working for us and things. And she always said, can I comb your hair? Barbara, she was about. And he let her do it, and we got to know each other, and that's the way it happened.
So that was.
Got married. He was very nice and helped us, and we didn't have much food. And all of a sudden, he always brings me food for my sister and stuff, whatever. And I go, I can't accept that. I can't even pay you. He said, you don't have to pay me. I do this for your sister, not for you. I thought, that's not nice. That's a lot of stuff. And he brought food. He stole a lot. I have to put this in. He had no money either.
Linda's asking Dad questions. He's like, yeah, well, I was in the concentration and I escaped. And she's like, well, how did you escape? Like, what do you, oh, well, actually, I was paid off the guards and they let me go. And then I was getting people out with their families across the border. And she's like, oh, well, that's, I don't know what you said. That's very nice. And like, what? Like, you just did that just because you could? He's like, no, they paid me. She's like, they didn't have money, but they gave me watches and rings and jewelry and she's in food. And Linda's like asking, well, oh, well, how much did they pay you and what? And it just blew my mind. He was proud of it. He was acknowledging that, he was working as resourceful as he could, and he acknowledged he made a lot of money that way. Because she's like, hey, how much did they pay you? And because he had to pay the guards on both sides.
But it was dangerous too.
Yeah.
You had to be very
How
careful.
much did they pay? He says, and then, well, then how much do you have left over? Like, what percent? He's like, 90. And then he laughs.
Nice margins.
Then he laughs.
Yeah,
He's
he was
like,
giving.
he was like,
It was like, he's sitting on a chair like this, and mine was like on the side here. And he goes, Kathi, I like you. But in German, Kathi, ich liebe dich. And I looked at him and I thought, oh my God. It was a surprise. I liked him as a person, but at that time I wasn't that I would love him, no. But since then we got to know each other better. And then all of a sudden he asked me to marry him. I said, oh my God, I'm 18. I can't marry yet. I got a sister to take care of. He said, don't worry. I didn't have a big wedding, but my husband wanted to marry me. I was 18. And I had a good friend, my grandpa's relative or close friend. The lady heard I'm gonna get married. She brought me the dress and the veil to wear, and I would have went just dress. And so I'm on my wedding. I have a nice wedding dress. My husband bought me the flowers at that time. And here are all my sisters and my cousins. And that was our wedding pictures. Yeah. And when we had the wedding set and get going, the farmer said, well, I got a car, I drive you to church. And I said, no, I don't want a car. I like horses in the wagon. And he goes, come on, that's much nicer. I said, no. I thanked him what he wanted to do for me. And one of the farmer guy who ever handles horses in the wagon, they fixed up a wagon and took me to church. That was cool. I liked the horses with the wagons there, and I never drove a car.
So who's
This is the picture when my dad went to the army.
Ah.
That took him, you know. See,
Yeah.
I was tall already. I know how old I was.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
This is Dante Laney?
yeah. Me, Barbara, Marie, Mitzi, and Barbara.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's their weddings.
Yeah.
That's my dad when we were in Europe. We had that.
And this
This
is
is,
that's your mom and dad?
yes, and this is my school picture.
Very nice.
I didn't know these are your sisters.
Yeah.
Wedding, that's their
Oh,
wedding.
okay,
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's why he had a bike and his uncle, Leo,
So it's all together.
and they drove to town. And they went there and they saw people in line and they went and asked what's going on here. That is, if people want to go to America, you got to come and sign papers, fill out papers and sign it, then you can go to America. So Dad took a paper and Leo took a paper, his uncle. They come and filled it out. They talked to me. I said, what is America? What do you want to do in America? Oh, it's a better living and it's better than here. We got to go. And I said, but we have no money. How are you going to go? How? Fly? Drive? Car? Or what? Well, we don't know yet how that take us, but we just know if we fill it out, we might can go. And sure enough, we were lucky. We got the papers and we came with a ship.
Was Tony born yet?
Yes, oh my God, I had Tony.
So you and Dad, shortly thereafter, after I was born and that,
That you guys got?
how did the conversation start about you leaving Austria to go to America?
That was people from the neighborhood when we went to church or
I think I had a player in the
and meet people.
Yes.
They were talking, oh, you can go to America. And Leo said, oh, what do you have to do about that?
Okay. Leo Weber?
Yes,
Okay.
it was him who
Who
heard it.
asked that, heard about it and told
And then one Sunday he said, Tony, you and I go to Chicago, not Chicago, Linz. you know.
Linz, yeah, to the town.
Yeah, and he said, why? And we told him, and he said, well, we don't have the money to go there. He said, we'll find out, we'll go. They got the paper, they filled it out in a month, we were gone.
Oh my God, so.
But
once
no money,
No, I
they
understand.
knew, you know, I know how it
Right,
went.
so anyway, so now you've decided you're going to America, you filled out the paperwork,
Yes.
you're going to America. Now, how did you talk to your sisters and to your dad?
But
and-
then all
and
came,
everybody-
said goodbye.
I mean, what was the conversation like? How
But
did-
that was a fast one, and not even, my dad said, America, Kind, warst du, wo du hingehst? I said,
Child, do you know where you're going?
yeah. And I said, I go with my husband, I wouldn't know where I'm going. And I have my baby, and we just do what he wants to do.
How about your sisters?
My sisters didn't say much. They said, you're gonna be all by yourself. And I said, well, I'll find out when I'm there. That's for sure. It was.
What's the best thing you remember from the boat?
I liked everything. I mean, really liked. I liked when I met this friend. I had a good time with her. I wasn't alone because she had a kid like you.
Uh-huh.
We got close.
Not as cute as
Wasn't as cute as me, right?
Whatever.
Yeah. And was
it
I your
nice.
favorite?
We got along real good. And she always said to me, oh, do you like onions? My husband said, we gotta eat in German, not
Yes.
in English. And we gotta eat onions. We would never get sick. And I said, I like onions. And he brought us each a nice big side, and we ate it like an apple. He had it peeled and wrapped, and he gave us each one. He was a cook. And he helped cooking, whatever. And we sat on the steps and eating those onions like an apple. People passed us, they looked at, oh, they were,
he didn't tell you one thing, you girls got gas from that.
well,
No.
he didn't say that.
Thanks.
Just really made me realize how young they were when
Yeah.
they came here.
Yeah.
Young and dumb.
Well,
I know.
I don't think that you guys were too dumb because you
that's
had,
a big move.
But you
yeah,
didn't speak the language either, which is pretty.
Yeah.
far from dumb,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, that's-
super
I didn't
young.
know. Oh, yeah.
How old were you? 18, 19?
Yes, 19.
You have a little baby
With 19, I had the
and
baby.
you don't have anything, and Dad says you guys are moving to America. You don't even know where you're moving. You
No.
don't even know anything.
No.
Were you scared?
But
What did
first-
you think?
First, I told him, I said, America, what is America? He said, well, like here. And I said, how do you know? Did you meet anybody in America? He goes, no. And I said, now why do you say it to me like that? Why don't you answer me, you don't know, or because you can't know, you never been there either. And then he said, well, I just thought, I don't know what to tell you. And I said, okay, so we were on a boat, they put us on a boat. And he went to get like a policeman to watch the people, they had policemen, you know, somebody there.
Yeah.
And they gave me a room because of the baby, and he could come and visit me. And if he wouldn't have done that, we couldn't see each other unless we go to eat, or that's it, because they don't let.
So he got a job like security
Yes,
on the boat.
and he could
So
come
that he could
anytime
visit you?
to visit. He had to watch. He came evenings sometimes just to see how we're doing, if we're okay.
Did you give him a kiss?
Yes.
Okay.
So, but anyway, he couldn't stay long. He had to be down there. They were not allowed
You were,
to.
wait a minute, you were a policeman?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did they give you a badge?
Oh, and a pistol too.
Yeah?
No.
No
I-
bullets.
No bullets.
He,
They didn't
had
give
to
you
be
just
at
one
the-
bullet?
Nope.
You know, if he want to do that, that's why they said, if he goes, but he had to leave a day earlier. And that took care of me. I wouldn't have to worry.
How long was the trip on the boat?
7
I
days.
think 10 days.
7.
7?
I'd always thought 10.
10?
He
7?
said 7. Yeah.
What?
7.
7.
When we came here, we had German people waiting for us and gave us a room to stay. And it was hard. There were German people that took care of us. And then there came every day and picked up Opie to look for a job. He should look wherever. After this, they said, if we find something ourselves, we're always welcome to get out of there. But we couldn't talk English, so where are you going to go and look? And then when I needed grocery, they sent a person over. They said, we send you somebody to help you with your grocery. We had some money. And that lady helped me a lot. And she said, what is your husband doing? He says, well, so far he's looking for a job, whatever. And she helped him to get something. Whatever we were. Okay, who wants to go to Chicago? Chicago,
Yep.
they say. Or who wants to stay in New York? And Tony, my husband, said, I think we go to Chicago. He heard about it, whatever he must have. And okay, so they called us. The train is leaving tomorrow to go to Chicago. So we went to the train and came to Chicago, and there were German people again accepting us and took care of us and helped us look for this. They had rooms already. And then after this, if you find something better, you can go and get out.
You know?
I mean, you look at the decisions that both you made individually and the decisions that you and Dad made together.
Yeah.
Every single decision was a risk.
It was.
Having
Every-
a fourth
every-
kid, oh my
Ah.
God.
Yeah, having a fourth kid, right?
What-
But no,
whatever
every decision,
happened,
leaving
what-
Europe and leaving Europe to go to America.
Oh, we talked.
But no,
Stupid
every
thing.
decision you guys have made, pretty much, has
Oh,
been,
God. Really, no,
You're
I'm
either
not
gonna-
complaining.
you were risking everything.
I-
on
I
a lot of
like-
decisions.
Life-changing decisions.
Yeah, almost every one of them.
So you're in Chicago, you're settled down. When did you meet Mrs. Klein? How did that start?
I got pictures there for her, from her too. And we went to church. And I always took Tony with me, the baby, to church. And she came, she knew we were German and she talked German. She was German too. And she said, oh, what are you staying? How are you doing? And she was like, Opie answered her. And then I said, well, we're happy where we are. And she said, I got a place for you if you would move in my apartment. And can I talk to you, to Opie? If you would do something for me, you don't have to pay rent for a year. And he goes, what do I have to do for you? He says, would you paint my house? And he goes, that's it? And I thought, that's it, you say? That's a big thing. And she said, well, I would appreciate it. I don't care how long it takes you, but if you do it, you don't pay rent for a year. And Opie did, he had a friend, he asked him to help. He said, can I ask? She goes, whatever you do, as long as my house gets painted. And that's what we did. We didn't pay rent for a year. And then she took me to school to help her work to make money. She was in charge of the cooking. And the kids come and eat and leave, and others come and leave a lot. It was Saint, what was that church?
Michael.
Yes, thank you. And I worked there for quite a bit. We put chairs together, had them on the chair, you know.
So, did Miss Klein help Dad get his first job at Philips?
Yes.
Tell me
He-
about that.
Well, he had a job, he wasn't pleased, but whatever. And she said, okay, I give you a thing. If you want to go there, would you like factory work? He says, any work, if it's. And she, wait, that's surprising that you remember. She called the guy and they came, picked him up the first time. We didn't have a car yet or nothing. And then we found out we could walk. He walked. So he worked. He liked the job. He liked everything. Then I started working there. I was spot welding and notching or anything. And for years. And then all of a sudden, we worked there for years. Then Opie looked around to buy his own thing. And he saw a paper in the newspaper, a guy, Tony Trendler. He's selling the place, and Opie went, not me. And then Opie said, it was on a Friday and there was grocery shopping. I said, today's grocery shopping, you're not going to go for a job. And he goes, it's more important than the grocery. He said, grocery. I got mad. I didn't go with him. And he comes back and he goes, guess what? I think I get the factory. I said, what? Dad, you don't have the money. Don't worry, it's going to be worked out. The next day, Tony Trendler, we had to meet him. He wanted to meet me. And we talked. He was very nice, and he helped us a lot. When it was the time that he asked, Tony said, how much would you charge us to buy that? And I go, oh my God, we don't have that money. And Tony Trendler said, looked at us both. Don't worry, if you like the factory, I'm happy you get it. I can see your husband likes it. I help you guys. And he just accepted what we had and paid the way we could. And we already got more money to pay him off. We saved, while we worked. He had things. And Tony Trendler invited us for supper with his girlfriend, and we had the money what we owed him. And Tony said, Tony, I got news for you. I can pay you today. He was shocked himself. And he says, Tony, I take half. Give me the rest of it whenever you're sure you have enough. He wouldn't even accept it. I never forget that though.
Linda, how old were you when you first met Omi?
15.
Oh my God, she comes
15
with the
years
dog
old.
every day before supper. You must know Andy comes home, or why? Did you come at that time? Or?
Well, I don't know. Nobody was home by your house yet.
Oh.
And I would always walk the dog, and so I would just walk over to your house, and I just found you so welcoming and friendly and accepting. You were like so accepting of everything and everybody.
Yeah,
And
I like people. Yeah. How about you?
Hey, how are you?
Well, welcome to Omi's
Hello.
house. Yeah.
Hello, lovely bird.
Oh!
We're having some girl time.
Oh, nice.
But I remember, Mom, when I was in grade school with Marty. So I remember like a party at your house when, and I was like, oh, they have a full-on bar in their basement.
Yeah.
It was like
the sink
fancy.
and everything.
Yeah. And the lights and
That'll
the
be more
grapes.
party people.
And the bumper pool table.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
So how you were in grade school, like what age?
Probably like 5th grade, something like that. or
Oh my
6.
gosh.
And then when Marty and I started dating, then I was 30, 31, I think.
I don't know the age of anybody, but I loved you guys when you came. Yeah.
Big difference in me, in my heart. Okay, I don't know where, because Dad had a heart too.
But he was different.
He
He
had
was
a hard.
like his mother.
Yeah, he had a hard edge. But once you broke through that hard edge, he was a little
was
soft.
touchy,
but
yeah.
he wouldn't show it.
No.
You wear your heart out to everyone. Everyone can feel and sense you. And
Wow, I never forget when you called, you want to come, we should meet Barb.
Oh yeah.
Ma, is it okay if I come over? I said, anytime you're welcome to come. I never forget good times with Barb, Steve.
Steve with Kathleen and
Yeah, and
Marty
then-
with
yeah,
Barbara,
yeah.
yeah, all them. You welcomed them
Yeah.
wholeheartedly.
I
You
loved
never-
them. I
Yes,
loved
you
them.
did. Truly, you loved
Yeah.
them.
I
Yes.
didn't just pretend. It
No,
was
no.
like my own kids.
I don't think you know how to pretend.
I don't know.
How were the early years of having the new business? What was it like for you?
For me, I like to work. It didn't bother me. And I had a kid. I took him with me. First, I had babysitter. I took babysitter in the beginning. And I wasn't pleased, and I was scared she's not nice to him. And I said, Tony, I take the kid with me. I take the playpen, I lay him down or do something. That was Marty, I think, the last one, when we had the factory, right? I am thinking now. And anyway, I had the kid and I worked. Well, he put me in the office first. He said, take care of things. First customer I called, he talked to me and I couldn't answer, and I talked to him and I couldn't. Oh, Jesus, whatever. The guy hung up. He called Tony. Who in the heck do you have in that office? And Tony said, my wife. And he goes, excuse me. I said, you know, Tony, I worked from 8 till about noon. I said, I don't take it no more. I can handle it. After the guy left, I thought, that's not for me sitting here and talking and that. Put me on a machine, I get you work out. It's better than the office. Then he had to call a girl in, and I went on a machine. And I never in an office, I wasn't the type to do that.
So what was your relationship at the time with Dad while you were working and he was at the factory?
We both were happy, tired evenings, but he helped me. You know, I got a cook, I had a kid to take care of. And it worked out for the best for both of us. We did it, you know. It's terrible.
Yep, we're good. So, I can't believe this is October and it smells so nice.
Today it's a beautiful day.
Very, very nice.
Yeah. Which is your car, the white?
Nope, the blue door right there. I'll get the door. Awesome, awesome. Okay, over here, Mom, watch your step.
Oh God,
Well, the curve, that's what I'm saying.
I'm old, but I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
When we got into Austria,
Yeah.
I was happy there. I mean, happy. I was satisfied. Or
Right. You didn't want to be somewhere else.
No,
you're saying,
never. And when I had my first child, totally, I go, I don't know how to handle it, what to do.
Do you remember when the tornado hit?
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember the tornado itself, but there was damage, and then they sent the army there to protect stuff. I don't know if you remember this, but they would be on the street, like making sure nobody stole anything.
Yeah, with the
And
guns
they'd be there
hanging
all day,
on-
guns hanging.
Yeah.
And you were like, here, go ask him if he wants a sandwich or something to
Oh,
drink.
or a drink.
Or a drink. I go out there, no, I can't drink, but I'll take a sandwich. And I came back and you made them sandwiches and I delivered them to the.
I forgot
Do you
that.
remember that now?
No.
No? I remember that was so cool.
But I helped people
Yeah.
when I saw things, but I never.
Yeah, because I remember as a little kid seeing the soldiers, and I was like, didn't know.
Well,
And then
there was a lot of broken things, windows open, and garage doors. Like
garage
everything.
is gone,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. So we were really protected.
Yeah, no kidding.
Having your sons involved in the business, what was it that made you really happy or excited about that?
Well, first, I was concerned. And when I saw how you like to help the work, and I said to Dad, is that right that our boy's working for us? And he goes, why wouldn't I be? And he goes, what do you worry about? I get paid like you get paid. And I said, yeah, but they're kids. And then the next time I thought, I can see they like it. They enjoy it too. And then I felt like good about it. But I thought you shouldn't be in the factory. We take care of you. And Opie said, they're boys, they can work. And I'm kind of, but I could see you all did what she did. Unbelievable, yes. And willingly too. I thought I can put Marty on a machine or this, no. And you guys work. And I said, he could fall. The swivels are cutting and thing. And Opie goes, did you fall? I said, not yet, but it could happen. And he goes, what do you worry about the boys? That's not going to happen. I always was worried something's going to happen, but it never did. And he said, every time we got home, he said, are you happy today? I said, why? I'm always happy. He goes, well, how were the boys? I said, they did okay. I am surprised.
So it sounds like you guys would have conversations a lot.
Oh, yes, because I was worried about your boys to be in the factory. I talked a lot and cried a lot because I didn't feel, Marty was the youngest, that bothered me. And he goes, Ma, how old were you? I said, don't bring that up. That's my kids. That's not me, that's my kids. And he goes, well, they're mine too. I said, I know, but I'm concerned. That shouldn't work, we work.
When my dad bought the business, because when he did, he said, well, guess what? You're going to start working now. I was like, working? Yeah, come on.
How old were you?
I would have been 12 years old, I think it was. 12. 12 years old. 11, because that would have been 1962.
Yes.
62, I was born in 51, so that was 11 years old. And so we went down to work and different stuff, and the part that was really cool is that I was making money. Because we used to go around collecting pop bottles and stuff and different things to try and get money. Now, all of a sudden, I'm down at work, I'm sweeping, I'm cleaning stuff up, and I'm getting paid for it. So that was really cool. And so as we're going on, Dad taught me all the different things we knew: electricity, plumbing, the furnace, how to get the coal furnace going. I learned how to weld. I learned how to work on punch presses and work in the tool room.
So Dad taught you all these things, or what?
Dad taught me, and people that worked for him, he said, here, work with him. And so I started learning all these different things that I use to this day.
Yeah.
All the different things to fix
The
stuff.
sweeping. Every
And,
time we're at your
well,
house, I see Barb as you sweep.
When I was in high school, I
We have another
remember
broom story.
I used
Oh, really?
to come after school, and I used to go and clean the bathroom, sweep up and everything like that. And then I remember coming up to Dad after about 3-4 years or whatever. I go, Dad, been cleaning these bathrooms now for 3 or 4 years, can I just get off to something else? He goes, Give it time. We'll get you to something else, but right now, you're still cleaning bathrooms.
So what's it? You have to sweep, and you think about it. It's like when someone's telling a story about you have to sweep something. Like I swept a lot of the factory floors, the warehouse floors, all this, to the point where you had your system down how to sweep. You got your push broom, you got your regular broom,
Get in the corner
you get
broom.
the corner broom,
Yeah.
and I remember like sweeping up a whole warehouse, and that there's a science to it. And I thought there's nothing to sweeping, and then I remember telling somebody I knew, hey, I need to sweep this up, and they're like, can you? Oh, I got it, and I'm like, get out, that's not sweeping. He would
First, like Anton bought the business, would have been November '62, summer of '63. I had my first job. Okay, 8 years old,
Right away.
and I'll never forget it. I remember Dad coming in the bedroom at like 5:30 in the morning. So, hey, come on, we're going to work. And I'm like, going to work? I don't want to go to work. What do you mean go to work? You don't want to go to work? He pulled his belt off. Okay, he looks at me and says,
You're going to work.
you need to go to work. I was cleaning out the scrap underneath the machines.
Yes.
Okay, because I had 8 years old, and kind of worked my way through that. The machines would create stuff and put them in buckets, but I progressed. By the time I was 10 or 12, started cleaning out the coal underneath the furnace. So the heat was done with coal. It wasn't, that's how we heated the plant.
My boys, their wives are my kids. I call them. They're my number two. I'm number two, Mom. I wouldn't take their mommy's place, but I said, don't forget. I'm number two. And it's that, like, since they got married, and my kids, my grandkids, they're like my own. They are, but like I said, I am blessed. That's all I'm saying, to have a family like that.
What would you want your grandkids to remember about you?
Just to be happy and get going and do what you want to do. That's what I did.
You know what I remember when we went to Europe? Heather was 5th grade, and we took her out of school for a couple of weeks. And Mom was excellent having her there, because just entertaining Heather, because Heather would be bored. We'd always be going to this, touring area, or and she'd be like, "Oh, are we seeing another castle or
another church?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
the relatives.
Mom would just say, "Hey," they would play cards, and she would do things with her, just to break it up. And I just remember thinking, thank goodness she's here to do this, because she was always such a good sport about it. She loved any time she would spend with her grandkids, was always, you could see, brought her such joy. It didn't matter what they were doing. She just wanted to be with them and in their presence, and I so understand that. And I guess what I remember, what I think of with Mom all the time, is she was just always so joyful around us. Really very little crankiness ever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she's just happy to be with us. And I understand that. Now, being a grandmother, now I understand that. And it is absolutely, oh, the mailman's here. Absolutely made me feel good to know that I had that in her. I never worried about if Heather was staying overnight or whatever was going on. I never had to worry. Mom would be just joyfully taking care of her and doing fun stuff with her. Everything.
This is a good thing to remember. What are her best things for what she used to call the kids? Oh, my little Goshali.
Oh,
Googly.
All of her
Nusserstrudel.
Golden, just gold.
Goldily.
Goldily, Goldatsily, Goldatsily.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Here, who's here?
Hi, baby.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, Justina.
I don't know how my dad and mom was, but I always loved everybody, and I don't know why or what's with me to be like that. My sister wasn't like that.
But you were always like that even when you were young? you being so lovable. I was thinking about it on my drive over here, and I'm thinking, well, what makes OMI so special is you are just filled with love from my earliest memories of being a kid. We would spend all the holidays together. I always wanted to spend the night with you after. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Because I just wanted to like extend the time I had with you because you were just always happy and lovable and everything was always so fun. So when you were young, you were energetic and lovable like this
I remember
too?
we were young. I always take her out for her birthday because my birthday and her birthday are a month apart, or not even a month, a couple weeks, and we go in between both of them and celebrate both our birthdays. And I always really enjoyed that. But I think the memory I'm going to go with is the time you taught me how to make palachinga, because sitting there and taking, you know, the eggs and whipping the flour and putting it in the milk and putting it in the pan and watching it crisp up in the pan. It's not a hard thing either. It's just
you like that, and you're kind of like other things a lot. We like each other to go out together, have drinks together. I never forget that, Ricky.
No, I won't. I don't either.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and we had good times.
Pay attention. You say hi to Omi.
And
Did you give her a big hug and a kiss?
You know, I'm happy I can see you out there at school. Let me look at it.
Did you give her a big hug and a
I
kiss?
love her.
There you go. How about your cousin, Justina?
That's
Yeah.
gym shoes for school? With a nice dress like that? Gym shoes. Oh, but it's cool. I love it.
Hunter?
Say, so it's easy to run around, right?
Hold on, just drop it over here, throw it out the window, do something.
Did you guys have lunch or?
Put that down.
Yeah, they had lunch at school.
Oh, I see.
He's got to have a swig.
Oh,
I'm thirsty.
Can I open it for
But yeah, no,
and
we
he
had
came and
a lot of fun, lots of sleepovers, and we'd either watch two movies, Beaches and Dirty Dancing.
Well, you danced for me a lot. I had to sit on the couch and she danced. And then she goes upstairs in the bedroom, gets the new nightgowns put on and come down and dance for me.
Yeah.
I said, how did you find my new nightgown?
Opie would have to watch too, and he'd go, oh my God.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah.
And then as I got older, we still did a lot of stuff together.
Yes.
We'd go up to Wisconsin, then we started, oh my gosh, then we started being more buddies, and we'd go have dinner together, and sometimes we'd go to the crazy bars together.
Oh, yeah.
And then we did spa. We did the spa weekends up in Wisconsin.
Oh, that was cool
We
too.
loved it.
Yeah.
And now we have a whole different dynamic. We got the grandkids. We have sleepovers now over here with OMI. And
make me very happy.
I do. I remember. I don't know how long ago it was, but I would go to their old house, OMI and Opie's old house, and I would cut grass for them. I'd trim their bushes every summer for a few years. And Omi would be making dinner the whole time while I'm out in the yard with Opie cutting grass. And he's, oh, no, cut that a little more. Oh, no, a little more over there. You know, whatever. And he showed me how to hedge trim all the big bushes he had on the, whatever you call it, the
great
bricks in the back.
They put all those rocks in there. Remember the 3 layers? Omi and Opie put all those in themselves. Shit. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always was proud of my boys, what they did and how they're still doing. That's unbelievable. And proud. They were always hard workers too. Yeah.
20, 30 years going by, and Dad's retiring from work. And we're taking over the business. We're getting older. What was that like for you, or what did you see when Dad retired?
Well, the first thing, I was scared what's going to happen to the factory. When I found out you guys took over, it was a blessing to me. I felt very, very good about it because even I thought, oh, they're doing okay. They'll take care of it. And I am very proud what you did and you're still doing, how you handled it when you start. It made me very happy, and I thought, it's still in the family, that all that counts. That was my thinking, because you guys did good. You handled it okay, my saying, and I'm still proud of it, what's going on with you guys. It's awesome, and I'm blessed to take your dad's job. He said, how about we start going on vacation? I said, we're not going to work. Do we have the money to go on vacation? I could never think we got the money in the bank. We got, we saved. We were savers. And I said, well, where would you really feel like going if we really go on vacation? In beginning with Joe Kemp, his best friend from Yugoslavia, and yet we went on vacation for a week, and that gave us kind of stingy places. Well, we didn't have money, so you get what you pay for. But we had good times. And then when we start after the shop going out, and I said, oh, can we afford that? Opie said, Ma, don't ever worry about that. You always say that when we go out to eat. He orders 2 drinks. I said, honey, he goes, I said, we got that at home. He says, we're out. And I start doing it with them. And we went to Florida on vacation for how many years? 18, 19 years.
Well, she taught me, I like to entertain. She told me, as long as you have good food, drinks, and music, it's good.
Be happy. You'll be happy.
Yeah. But I'm like, okay, so food check, music check, and booze.
Dancing.
All right.
Dancing. Lots of
Wow.
dancing. We go out to dinner, Steve and Mom, Omi, and myself. And what I have to do is when the server comes to the table, I said, no, I'm just going to have a sparkling water or water. Because someone has to take care of these two when they get to tell their stories.
Just getting loud and screaming and yelling.
And
People are coming over.
Yeah, they always ask me how old is she? And I go, oh, she's in her 90s. And they go, really? They were dancing with the server the last time we went out to eat.
Drinking shots of tequila with them and stuff.
Oh, my.
He got sick. I don't know what it was or how it happened. And I always said, Dad, you don't make this up. I thought he's doing it to show me he want to see how I would do when he gets sick. You know what I'm saying? I said, Dad, come on, what's the matter with you? It happened, I'm thinking how it happened the first time. He acted different, and I couldn't think why he's doing it or what it is. Didn't say nothing, and then at night he got sick. I think it happened in Wisconsin. And we always went Thursday to Wisconsin. And he got sick that night. I woke up, he wasn't in bed, and I thought, oh, he's not in the bathroom. Where would he be? Because I didn't see the light on. So I got up and went to the front room, and he was sitting on a chair like that and looking out the window. I said, Dad. And I go, Dad, and I hugged him. He was ice cold and sweaty. And I go, oh my God. And I remembered Tony called, they're coming up Thursday, but later. And that happened close in the morning, so I knew Tony's there because I didn't like whatever. I called Tony, I said, Tony, there's something wrong with Dad. He's sitting in the chair. He's very sweaty and he wouldn't talk to me. So he called the ambulance and they came and checked him, but they took him with right away. And we followed with the car. They took him in a room, whatever they did in there with him. I shouldn't say what it looked like when we got in. And I was shocked that whatever happened to him like that. He drove all the way to Wisconsin. We had good times, we had supper and everything. And just, I tell you one thing, it was hard because he did a lot of things for me. He was nice, and I go, who's gonna help me with all this? What am I gonna do? Not that I think he's gonna die, but I'm just thinking he's sick. Who's helping me now at home and things? Or sit with me and talk and watch TV. But when we got there, what they did, he couldn't talk or nothing. He didn't even know we were there, Tony and I. They put him in the hospital and he stayed there.
When Dad passed, obviously that was a very traumatic experience for the whole family, everybody, all that stuff. But how did you adjust to living by yourself? What was the part that was hard, or how did you overcome that? How did you get through
Tony,
that?
My saying is, I'm blessed with my kids, and that helped me a lot.
So, what does your life look like now?
Boys, I'm proud of you, how you did it. My family means more than anything else, and that keeps me going. It's just my grandkids, my boys, their wives are my own kids too. I always said, I don't take your mother's place, but don't forget I'm number 2. Yes, and we're still that close. I love them. They're like my own. It's just, well, I'm proud. First of all, when I had you 4 boys, I always thought, oh my God, I got 4 kids. 4 kids, oh my God. But I'm still proud I have you because I got grandkids. I don't know how to put it, but I am blessed. That's all I say with my family. I would say keep happy and be good to each other and nice to each other. And ignore any hard feelings about things. Straighten it out, forget it, and make the best of it. That's my doing and saying.
Who's your favorite?
No, you don't start like Tony. That's why I looked, I want to say, jeez.